righty. All right, well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out for the roast of Jim Price to benefit Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Blair County. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rich. I'll be your host this evening. I'll be introducing everybody, except for him. I just have one disclaimer. I have no idea why we're roasting Jim Price. He's a little strange, he's a creepy fuck, but he's all we have. I got some background information for everybody. For the last couple of decades, Jim Price has been the advocate for the local musician. All of us in the bar scene know that for the last couple of decades, musicianship in Altoona has been going to shit. Jim Price lectures at Penn State. He's a DJ at the radio station. He also writes for PA Musician. Jim Price is kind of like an entertainment serial killer, lurking in the background, waiting to pick off all the young musicians. When all these old bands eventually break up, they won't go away. No, no, no. These old guitar players, they don't give up the dream. Singers certainly don't get 40-hour-a-week jobs. We all know that. Jim Price keeps them tied up in his basement. Jim Price keeps them tied up because it's the only way to keep Jay Randall alive. Jay Randall sucks the entertainment and the talent out of every musician to stay alive, and Jim Price is his advocate. Seriously though, if it weren't for all of us taking our time to talk to Jim Price, he'd go home alone every single night, and that would be a tragedy. Come on, when have you seen him with a woman? Seriously. Jim Price is that creepy old guy that sits at the end of the bar that the local bar skank's afraid to walk outside with. We all know that. Hell, the only thing female that Jim Price has ever taken home is a bottle of Jenny. Just one thing, I was reading some of his old blogs and I came across something just to tell you how creepy he really is. Jim Price once wrote when he was a child, he used to like to collect spiders. He would feed them, he would raise them, he would keep them as pets. He is a creepy fuck. Why is he here? I'd like to paint a picture for you. Jim Price's house, full of bird shit, spider webs, and in some dark corner, Troy Ernest wondering whatever happened to his career. I've been saving that one all week long. Anyway, Jim Price is the best we could do, so he was kind enough to come out tonight and help us raise money for a great cause. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the man, the myth, the professor, Jim Price. Somebody please get him a couple of Jennies. He's going to need them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first roaster of the evening is Mr. Steve Oswald. What a lot of you don't know is when I first moved to Altoona, I actually worked with Steve at Riverside. Yeah. He was a head meat cutter. Now he just butchers songs singing for Half Tempted. I'm sorry to say that Steve had to quit shortly after I worked there. I mean, there was a bit of a scandal. We caught him in the back room fucking an old pork butt. It's good to see him and Joe George still hang out today. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Oswald.
Oh, shit. Well, I gotta follow Rich, huh? I think everybody has to follow Rich tonight. I didn't write much. These guys have freaking 5-page novels up here, so be ready for some funny shit. I'm not exactly funny. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna try my best, but you know, expecting me to be funny is kind of like expecting Joe not to fart during a show. It's like expecting Kevin to sit in a room with nail driver these days. It's kind of like expecting Ronnie to not shave his ball sack before every big gig. And as far as me, it's like expecting me to show up on time to unload the stuff and get ready to play instead of right at the time of the gig. Probably took some of your shit there. Yeah. Anyway, and it's almost like expecting Jim Price to write something bad about anybody. Expecting me to be funny is like all that shit. But what I figured I'd start out with here is, obviously, I don't know if you know, I'm a teacher, and like Jim, listen to me, Jim's here. Like Rich said, we used to work together, and meat department was a lot of fun, but teaching's pretty cool, and he is called the professor, isn't he? So I figured I'd try to analyze the professor, and I was, online searches are easy these days. So I figured, why don't I Google the professor, because the only professor I can think of that goes by the professor other than Jim Price is that fucking guy, the genius from Gilligan's Island. The professor, okay? So, and, if you right up his alley as a writer and whatnot, I want to compare and contrast here. The professor from Gilligan's Island. Here's what he's got going on. If you didn't know, his character, it was Roy Hinckley. Was the name. Anyone know that? Trivia? The professor's real name, not his actor, not the actor, but his real name, besides the professor, was Roy Hinckley. Obviously, we have Jim Price. So that's a little bit different. But anyway, the professor on Gilligan's Island, his main function on the show was to devise ways for the castaways to live more comfortably on the island.
No, it's clear.
And when you think about Jim Price writing, a Pennsylvania musician, about all y'all out here who's ever been on a stage, he's made our lives more comfortable too, hasn't he? By telling freaking lies about how good we are. I mean, really. It's a common theme, and I think maybe you're going to hear it all through the night. But anyway, back to Professor from Gilligan Island. Aside from his proficiency in science, he was also adept and well-versed in law, literature, social science, and the arts. Sounds a lot like Jim Price. He throws in, fishing and different other things, and was it rail fanning I saw on a website? Rail fanning, he does all this shit too. But he's kind of like the professor because he's a professor of the arts. Now, little was ever learned about the professor's past on Gilligan's Island, all right? And nothing was ever learned about his family. Jim Price! Except for a little bit that you told us right there. A lot of stuff I don't know about Jim and his family, and I thought that sounds a little bit like our professor too. And he's always portrayed, Gilligan's Island guy, always portrayed as the most neutral and level-headed character. Well-versed in rhetoric. And he often served as a leader of the castaways, whom the others respected because of his great store of knowledge of music and everything that he possibly knows. I think the professor's a lot like Gilligan's Island's professor. So, the history of where he called himself a professor, or somebody called it, I know it's going to come out tonight. I'm going to guess Jay Randall may have that up his sleeve, or maybe up his spandex. I don't know, because he's wearing, it's a cold night, and he's wearing an underlayer of spandex tonight. So keep that in mind as he approaches the podium. But anyway, JP, let's think. How's he different? How's he different? Think about this for a second, all right? The way he's different is this. The professor, if you recall, on Gilligan's Island, always had Ginger and Mary Ann flanking him, all right? Jim Price has Mary and her 4 sisters. And, what can I say, Professor? I think the professor from Gilligan Island one-ups him on that one. But anyway, Jim Price, I don't have a lot of negativity to say, but I did look up professor, which, does mean scholarly teacher. A person who professes to have musical knowledge, even though he doesn't play or sing anything. Did I steal your stuff? We talked about this one. But that's okay, because he professes, and he is exactly right. He's an expert in arts, and certainly a teacher of high rank. Wait a second. I think he fell in love with being the professor so much that he got a freaking gig down at Penn State Altoona, teaching news writing and teaching all the kids down there how to be slanted and make everyone sound wonderful on paper. Now, go ahead, give him some there. But it ain't the truth. All right? That's not the truth. He's not Corey Geiger. He's not Neil Rodell. He's not going to pin you. He's not going to nail you with stuff. He's Jim Lane. He's the Jim Lane to always give the good news on people. Well, you know what? It's a lie. I mean, Bobby Waters probably remembers a night where, and Sam Rudy's here tonight. I know he remembers this because he used to deal out $2 a night iced teas down at the hitching post, I believe it was. And John Scarfone used to be in the band with us, all right? John and Bobby and a guy named Jeff Wallach, who once told Jim, please write something bad about me. If you know Jeff, you know, he was a damn good player. We pay tribute to him about every year. But he pleaded with the professor, just one time, write something bad about me. Give me a bad review. Well, one night we were down at Sebastiano's. Sorry, Grimaldo. But we were. And John and I probably had 6 of those $2 iced teas and had a hard time going between the alleys from the hitching post down to Sebastiano's, which is the Monkey Wolf now. So we got a little bit lost. We were a little bit late. When we got there, Jake, and, you know, we freaking sucked. If you want to know the truth, you can't be drunk like that. John probably passed out the 3rd set and went to the kitchen, and you know, Claudio probably woke him up at 3 in the morning. But true to form, the next month we're reading about how wonderful we were at Sebastiano's the night that John was all passed out and probably couldn't even finish the set. Wonderful stuff. You cannot argue with a man who's positive, can you? I told you I wasn't funny. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professor.
We know he's truthful, at least. I don't have a lot to say about Kevin Siegel. I really don't know him that well. The only thing I know about him is that he used to play in one of the only progressive rock bands in Altoona, Nail Driver. Now he drums for Half Tempted, and that is the true definition of regression. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Siegel.
Yeah. One of the interesting things about doing a roast is that you have to be, number one, surrounded by your peers, and number two, you got to rip them apart. And, you know, the only time that I can think that I've been around this much talent on one stage is at the Rock Page jams that we have a lot of times. You know, these guys are pretty good friends of mine. A couple of them I don't know, you know, Rich, except, hey, Rich, give me a fucking beer. That's all I know about Rich. You know, I mean, Bob Waters, I've known Bob for almost 20 years now. I mean, this guy is a walking dichotomy. Bob, that means opposite. He's a drummer. And if you follow him on Facebook, he builds his own computers. And it's like he posts pictures. I think his newest computer that he just built just put like a water cooler and shit in it. I think Fisher-Price called and wants the patent on it. You got Ronnie Delansky, my bandmate from Half Tempted. Great guy. I've known Ronnie for a long time. We were talking the other night at a show, and I'm like, Ronnie, you know, you're staying in good shape. You know, he's got some guns going on. He said, how you do it? He said, oh, I, you know, go to work out. I go to the sauna. I'm like, dude, you go to the sauna? Where's your membership? One of the local massage parlors? Come on, happy ending? And then there's Joe George. I mean, I was going to have the same conversation with Joe, but Jesus Christ, look at him. Ask him how he stays in shape. He says, my only shape is round. He's kind of hiding off to the side, but Big Daddy, Felix Cause, is over here. Felix was the first musician I saw in Pennsylvania, and I knew that I had to play with him. And then I think I annoyed the living piss out of Bobby until Bobby said, all right, come on up. But Felix is the only guy I know that, and this is a true story, on the prison tour, when you gotta wash the salt off the van, he thinks you can wash the crock pot in the van off with a high pressure hose. It doesn't work, Felix. He did buy me a new crock pot though. Steve Oswalt, one of my bandmates. Where'd Steve go? There he is, Boise State. Steve, he's so into Rush, if you don't know, it's like one of the rules of the band is that if we ever get lost, every song resolves to Rush. Steve's so into Rush that he went to Aldo's for dinner tonight and he asked for honeydew and the milk of paradise. They didn't have it. Then there's Jay Randall, the guy who took my job in radio. Actually, it wasn't him, it was some asshole named Dave Davies, but Jay ended up taking my slot, and I do listen to Jay. He's the only one I listen to, and he does a pretty good job. He's also the only bass player I know who's so skinny his fucking bass weighs more than he does. And then there's Cheese. I don't really know Cheese, but No, you're not going to get a beer. Because the only thing I'm saying is I don't know you very well, but every time that I see Cheese's name on Rock Page, he's in another band. The guy's been in more bands than Mark Panic. Jesus. Then there's Jason, my buddy. Jason McCann used to sing for a band called Choking Faith. They absolutely just destroyed every time they played. Somehow, Choking Faith also got to open for all the national bands that came in here. Holy crap, dude, I thought I had a big ego. That was me. And Kent Tonkin, a resident TV star. If you've never watched some of the, like, Discovery Channel, there's a show that they rerun from time to time called Warbots, and Kent's on it, from St. Francis University. He's like, these are my rock'em sock'em robots. They're pretty cool, but I mean, he's another one, along with Bobby. You guys are like smart, you're intelligent, working with robots and computers. You're giving us a bad name, freaking stop it. And then there's the man of the hour, Jim Price. I've known Jim for almost 20 years, and I am proud to say that if nothing else on my headstone, I can put as my claim to fame that as far as I know, I'm the only one in this room to ever put Jim in a tuxedo, because Jim was in my wedding. I do have pictures that I should probably post on Facebook. But Jim's also the only guy that reviewed my wedding in PA Musician Magazine. Can't you find anything better to do? Man. But seriously, I could rip on Jim all night because I love him, but the only thing I can say truly about Jim is that if it wasn't for Jim Price, we would not have a music scene. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Kevin. The next guy I want to bring up here is Bobby Waters. Bobby's behind me here. It happens a lot. Bobby used to be a really wild man. For those of you guys that don't know, for the younger people, Bobby used to be fucking nuts. The rule of thumb was, whenever you were hanging out and Bobby was around and he was drinking, you're not drinking tonight, right? Oh, good, my pants are still on. I knew you weren't. When Bobby was drinking, you had to watch him, because you never knew when he was going to throw you into a salad bar or a jukebox or God knows what. But nowadays, he's kind of docile, and once you get a look at him, you'll know we're just worried about him turning gay. Ladies and gentlemen, Bobby Waters.
Thank you, Rich. If dicks had wings, your mouth would be an airport McGarvey. Good evening, everyone, to our distinguished panel of nobodies, fans, friends, and people that have no purpose in life. Welcome to Dildos, or Aldoids, or whatever the big ugly Italian guy's name is over there. This is a great night. Thanks for having me. Thanks for including me. Remember, all proceeds go to the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Blair County tonight. Jim once applied, but they ran a background check on him, so. And today we mourn the life of Jim Price. He looks almost lifelike sitting there. Looking around, you do sure have a lot of well-wishers, Jim, and they'd all like to throw you down one. I brought my own crickets. Hold on. With his radio and his web and his print duties, he does the work of three men, Larry, Curly, and Moe. I didn't know Jim when I was growing up. He's a lot older than I am, but then I wasn't in special ed class either. Jim's birth certificate is an apology from the condom factory. 35 minutes. Jim was so ugly when he was born, they had tinted windows on his incubator. And Jim's first fight in the schoolyard involved Pokemon cards. I invited Jim to his first jam night here at Aldo's, and he showed up with a loaf of bread and peanut butter. And he brought his date, Priscilla the tambourine lady, well, and she never left. Maybe if we're lucky tonight, Jim will do a bongo and a ukulele solo for you, huh? Jim's sketches are really nice. Any of you guys ever had a JP sketch? The last one he did of us had Adult World shopping list scrabbled on the back and kind of came through. But Jim, we want to thank you for everything you do, and someday you'll look back on this and laugh nervously and then change the subject. Why, he's so short he looks like a dwarf. He's been dropped in a bucket of pubic hair. I didn't write that. Yeah, I did. Okay. Jim's an avid gardener. Carrots, zucchinis, and Vaseline. And remember, guys, any CDs you give to him scare the birds away in his garden. That's what he uses CDs for anymore. Damn, this is going faster than Ryan Dunn's car. And to our distinguished panel, Jason Mitten, who looks like Lemmy's hemorrhoid. Ron Delansky up here. He pays JP in cases of Jenny so the public won't forget about him. Joe George, what's up, great babe? Your feet are so big when you dance you step on everybody's toes. And Steve Oswald, gotta love Steve. Hey, Geddy Lee called, he said stop it. Kevin Siegel, who was so depressed about his bad timing, he threw himself in behind a train. Adam D. Who's Adam D? Haven't seen him since the 80s. I wanted roses on my piano, he put tulips on my organ. Ken Talkin, congratulations to your recent engagement to Missy. I'm so glad you won't be homeless anymore. And Cheese. Hey Jason, get Cheese a double shot of Jenny Craig for me, huh? And Big Jim Ricotta, I know he's here somewhere, isn't he? I had to throw one in. Congratulations, your acceptance to Big Sisters. And Jay Randall's here, but he's working. Will someone just pay him for the pizza? Thank you, everybody. Jim, thank you for everything.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks for flying Air Rich. Big Jim couldn't make it here tonight. He's down at Shaw's playing. He wanted to be with some talented people. Every roast needs to have a woman on the stage. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any women that actually knew Jim. Well, wait, that's not true. That's not true. I did find one, but the only thing she would say is, "Me love you long time, fucky sucky." We couldn't find any women, so I had to do the next best thing. Ladies and gentlemen, my evil gay midget friend, Jason Matan.
Jesus fucking Christ. Rich McGarvey, everybody. Rich McGarvey. I've known Rich for a long time. We've worked together for 16 years. Rich has been electrocuted. He almost died from scarlet fever. Everybody knows he lost a testicle and he lost a kidney to cancer. Dude, take a fucking hint. Jesus. I lost a testicle, I said that, yeah. I just wanted to drive that point home, you ballless fuck. Rich's ball is less productive than Cheese's metabolism. Rich's ball is to sperm like Helen Keller is to singing. Dude, seriously, your ball produces so much useless drivel, it should really help Jim Price write his blogs. Look at this fucking dais. Just, God, it's so depressing. It looks like a roast or it's a commercial for AARP. I mean, look at Jay Randall. He's actually 22 years old. It's just that Jim's long-winded blogs and horribly accentuated adjectives have sucked all the youth right out of his body. Jay Randall, you creepy speak and spell movie phone voice motherfucker. I thought the movie The Devil Inside was about your voice. It's actually about whenever Cheese eats Taco Bell. Look, Jay, whenever your radio career is over, you know you can always get a guest spot on AMC's Walking Dead. Aldo, you still awake? I was just making sure. Oh, that goddamn Jason, yeah. He poured too much liquor. I kill him one of these days. Ron Delansky from Half Talented. I love you, Ron. I'm just fucking with you. Ron, to be honest, it's the first time I think you've been on stage while Aldo's been awake. It's whatever. He falls asleep during every shitty AC/DC cover band. It's a roast. Get over it. Joe George. Sir, you look like the talking trees in the second Lord of the Ring movies. Oh, shit. You have a massive head. It is obscene how large his fucking skull is. Like, Haitians can take refuge in your fucking skull. No, I'm kidding. Like, Joe, you look like, what the fuck is his name? Fred Gwynn? The old man from Pet Sematary? Which, coincidentally, if you bury a good musician in the Pet Sematary, they come back as Ron Delansky. No one wants to hear you, Ron. Speaking of massive heads and egos, Cheese is here. Oh, jeez. Shouldn't you be climbing up a building trying to kill the Ghostbusters? What did you do, Ray? What did you do? Cheese is the singer for Suicide Switch and Railroad City Murder Machines, but he also has a hell of a reputation for fighting. And you have kicked the shit out of a lot of people in here over the years. You've beaten a lot of people up. Unfortunately, the only thing that Cheese can't beat is the odds of a fucking heart attack. Dude, your metabolism is like Rich's bartending career. Old and defeated, but somehow it's still working. The only thing higher than Cheese's cholesterol is Jody Ernest. Kevin Siegel. Dude, you're such a great drummer. Why the fuck are you with Half Talented? I know, it was weak, but I had to do it. Steve Oswald, Ron Delansky's stunt voice. Now for the guest of honor, Jim. I love you, Jim. Jim, you fucking drunk. When you die, Genesee will finally go out of business. Genesee, whenever it does its taxes, claims you as a dependent. Your liver is so black, it has more soul than Ron Delansky ever will. Oh, shit. Jim, people say that you look very, very similar to the porn star Ron Delansky. No, I'm sorry. I fucked that up because I was reading, and I have tattoos, and I can't do that real well. Sorry. Ron Jeremy. Yeah. It's true, you look like Ron Jeremy. You two have one very similar attribute. God gave you both massive dicks. Yours just happens to be named Jay Randall.
Chappelle.
In all seriousness, though, yeah. Jim, you're a great sport for doing all this. Every musician that's in the local band knows who you are. You're a fucking icon around here. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting us do this, letting us shit on you, and letting us shit on each other. Jim Price.
All right, Jason, get back to work, you piece of shit. These people need drinks. Nobody up here's funny yet. Adam D is our next roaster. Adam D. I don't think anybody in here knows who the hell he is. Adam D. The D stands for dumpy, drab, and dilapidated. No, I'm sorry, that was bad. I apologize. I really do. Years ago, we had a forum going on. We were trying to get him to change his name to Adam F. for fucking waste of our time. It never really went anywhere, though. Adam D is Altoona's version of Jay-Z. He's the blackest thing we have. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam D.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Let's hear it for Rich. Honest to God, really. Isn't he irrelevant? Isn't he irrelevant? Look at this place. I mean, I need my glasses here because I wrote down some stuff here. I'm getting old. Why would you assemble a bunch of musicians to make jokes? All right, musicians are not funny. This is like a bunch of monkeys having a knife fight. You know what I mean? There's no sense to this. All right. I mean, all your careers are over, right? Right? Am I right? They're all over. I mean, you know, mine's over too. Yeah, you're right. Fuck you. But it's like, you know, we're up here trying to do comedy. I haven't seen anybody hack it up so much since Deep Throat 2. All right? Yeah. Take a little time. Jim, you've seen that, right? We'll get to you later. All right. Let's hear for Half Tempted tonight. Nice job. It was a pleasure being able to sit in with Half Tempted. Ronnie's my old friend, Ronnie Delansky. Every time I call him, it's like he's having sex with his wife. And he answers the phone, right? Like he's on top going, oh, Ronnie, you know? I don't know why he answers the phone, but I tell you, there's something about Ronnie that, you know, he plays a lot, and he plays places that I've never fucking heard of ever in my life, all right? I played everywhere in this whole state, and Ronnie has found the places that I don't have any clue. One is called, he says, yeah, I'm down at the Man's Choice. The Man's Choice. I mean, this sounds like a place you gotta check your ass lube at the door. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing at, like, you know, the guy from the Village People, that what the construction worker guy, he won't even go in there because it's too gay. You know what I mean? Now, not that there's anything wrong with being gay. Well, okay, there's something wrong with being gay. God damn it! You're all going to hell, gay people. No, lesbians are okay. That's all right. So we got 2 lesbians here. Thank you for showing. But seriously, no, Ronnie is one of the best guitar players that he's ever heard of. He really is. Christ almighty. Half Tempted. I know how you got your name now. Because I was half tempted to stick a friggin' ice pick in my eardrum after hearing you play a fucking solo run. No. You know I love you, buddy. But you know what though? Since Joe George has come back, Half Tempted is awesome. Joe George is bass player extraordinaire, no doubt about it. It was great that Ronnie allowed you back into his ego band, his vanity band. But I tell you what, the best thing about Joe George is his stage presence. All right, my God, I haven't seen choreography this stiff since the Lee Harvey Oswald prison transfer. I mean, this guy got some moves on him. I mean, I'll wait for it. All right. That's good. All right. Really, honestly, Ronnie does have a place in my heart. A very special place in my heart. And there's nobody in this building who loves Ronnie on to Bobby Waters. All right. I love Bobby. He's a class act. Bobby's a class act. He's a role model for us all. I think you all agree with that, right? I've never seen him drink. I've never seen him in a fight. Never. I've never seen him passed out in his own puke at 2 a.m. down at the Cedar Grove. Remember when you never did that stuff, Ron? Bobby, whatever the fuck your name is.
Half the beard you have.
I mean, hey, Keith Richards called. He wants your liver to sew a fucking baseball mitt out of. I mean, you are a fucking drunk. What you want? Hey. All right. Okay. He's my friend. Steve-O's, well, he hates my guts. Don't let him kid you. He'll go up to you, he'll go up and say, oh yeah, Adam did, yeah. He'll be like real nice and then he'll like throw in something really, really bad. But he is a great singer. I gotta give you that, Steve. I particularly like your rendition of Scream Theater and Squeal Heart was one of my favorite ones. First instrument Steve learned was the throat flute. God. I told you, man, this is ridiculous. I heard Ronnie calls me up the other day. He says, "Everybody's writing material, man. You better get on." And I'm like, "Writing material? What the fuck? I thought we were just coming up here like you know, doing it off the cuff." No, it's everybody's writing material. So. I got to talk about Chris Vipon because I know him as opposed to everybody else out there. I have no idea how some of these fuckers are. But Chris Vipon and the Stanley Street Band. I know Mike Stanley. Yeah, they're very, very good. Very good. If you've heard them, very good. You got Wagner. What's that? Phil Wagner. Is he still in your band? I played with all those guys. You know, I cupped the balls when I played with them. But these guys, I tell you what, I listen to your CD. They're great. They kind of like sound like the Grateful Dead a little bit. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of it's kind of a thing back to the '60s a little bit. I heard that you guys are actually releasing a DVD in high def because you got to be high and deaf to appreciate it. All right. Which brings me to our guest of honor, Mr. Jim Price. The man, you gotta love Jim. You gotta love Jim. Can I get some love for my friend Jim? Personally, how dare you guys make fun of this icon of Altoona? This I know it's hard to say this. It's hard to say this. The voice of the, is it the backyard rocker or the homegrown rocker? Which is it? A homegrown rocker. Okay, we're not allowed to use backyard. Okay. I mean, he is the wordsmith of the Bottom of the Birdcage Gazette. I mean, I'm sorry, the Pennsylvania Musician. I'm sorry. But most important about Jim, he is the eater of the buffalo wing, all right? This man is a connoisseur of the buffalo wing. And Jim knows, I see him every Wednesday and I used to see him every Monday eating buffalo wings, but did you stop? Okay. No, I'm full is not in your vocabulary, I understand that. But I challenge anybody in here to be able to scarf down as many birds, as innocent little birds as this guy right here. I mean, he is responsible for more chicken deaths than Colonel Sanders, rooster sisters all over the world get together every year to commemorate the Holocaust of dead foul that this man has rained down upon them. I mean, he's known to them as the evil tyrant Adolf, my chicken head. No? No? That's not fun? No? Okay, I thought that was pretty good. Or, okay, wait. Here's my other thought. He is known to them as the evil tyrant. Oh, wait, I got a chicken head here. Is that making you horny? All right. Okay, my other choice was, he is known as the evil tyrant as, you're pulling my bone apart. No? What the fuck? Yeah, I need like, I need Bobby Waters back here on the drums giving me rim shots. Oh man. But seriously, Jim is responsible for the, he's responsible for the music scene here in central Pennsylvania. What it's become, where we are. It's your fault. This is, look what you've done to us, you son of a bitch. I mean, I haven't seen so many struggling musicians since the methadone clinic closed down.
Yeah, you're right.
Honest to God.
Get on your boat.
Really. You're responsible for this. But anyhow, for real, as you can see, it's hard for me to make fun of people. I don't like to make fun of people. I'm very positive as Jim is. And I appreciate the fact that you are a positive man. You write good things about everybody. If you don't have something good to say about somebody, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that is important. Even back in the 80s, I know, yeah, Adam from back in the 80s. Who said that? Adam back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, when nobody would give us a chance to play our original music, Jim gave us a venue to play our original music on, and he still does today. I seriously will be in your debt and always be grateful for that. I consider you a friend, and I love you, buddy. And I tell you what, you're the man. You're the man. Honest to God. Sorry about sucking that up here.
Rich.
All righty, Adam D. I feel like I could listen to him for hours, or I think I just did. Yeah. Ron Delansky. He's our local Bud rep. He's also the longtime frontman of Half Tempted. You've all heard a lot of bad jokes about Ron Delansky tonight. I'm not going to go there. You've heard all the jokes about his lack of talent, how he can't play guitar, how he can't sing, how he has all the personality of a dead fish. I'm just not going to do it. I'm actually here to defend Ron Delansky. I like the guy, I really do. Ron and I have known each other for a while. A lot of people, there's a very vicious rumor going around that Ron can't get any kind of a gig unless he promises bars a beer promotion in order to get a show. That's not true. By the way, tonight's roast is sponsored by Michelob Ultra. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to introduce Claudio's stand-in, Ron Delansky.
Boy, am I glad I got to wait a couple minutes to come up here, because I was writing material back there. Now I'm going to bust his ball. Now, let me tell you, and by the way, that was written by my 12-year-old son, Ryder. He said, "Dad, isn't that the guy with one ball?" I said, "Yes, Ryder." So thanks to Ryder for that. Hi, Jim. Oh, I'm sorry about this. I'm going to go really fast because I got a lot of material. Rich, he has no ambition. He has no work ethic. He's lazy. I'll explain. His life's goal is to be the next Aldo and buy this place. Okay? So all you young musicians out there, this is the guy that's going to be asleep at the end of the bar when we're playing. Get a good look at him.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there'll be some more lame.
And Rich, I love you. I really do. Steve-O. No, not the Steve-O. If you came here expecting to see the famous Steve-O from Jackass, you got this jackass. Okay? Now, I gotta be nice because he's a teacher over at the high school and he grades my kids' papers. And if I rip him a new asshole, hey, I'm talking here. A fucking teacher, and he's talking while I'm trying to hold it to the floor. Raise your hand, young man, if you have something to say and share it with everyone. That's right. Anyway, I gotta be nice to him because he might make me come down to parent-teacher conferences. But that's why I let him sing too. Shh. Okay, Felix Koss. Felix Koss is out here in the audience. He's so nice. How nice is he? He's so nice, he don't even want to come up here and bust anybody's balls. Now, I'm sick of it. When I got out of the Marine Corps, the first band I was in was with Felix. I taught him everything he knows. He couldn't even play guitar. He couldn't sing. You know, we were letting him carry the equipment for a while. I taught him a few licks. And now that's all I hear. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Felix, 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 right? It's like, I'm just glad. I mean, you know, now I'll give him some props. He is a great guitar player. I'm just glad his dick's smaller than mine. That's all I gotta say. I gotta have something on him. Okay, Kevin Siegel. Speaking of dicks, my new drummer, Kevin. Okay, it was between him for the job and Priscilla, the tambourine lady. Now, I said to Priscilla, this is what sealed the job. I said, Priscilla, if you join Half Tempted, there's going to be a lot of sex, a lot of drugs, and a lot of rock and roll. And Priscilla said, well, I can handle the sex. And I was like, okay, Kevin, you'll be starting next Saturday. Now, Bobby Waters, God bless him. He was the funniest guy up here so far. You not agree? He was amazing. He was even funnier than our set. Now, believe it or not, we graduated together. Look at him. Fucking guy looks like he's about 69 years old. Let me tell you, that's what a lot of old granddad and wild turkey will do to you kids. Just let that be a warning to you. That's hard living. It's hard living, Bobby. I love you know. He missed his calling. He really should have been a comedian. He should have been. I love him. And Jason Mitten? Who's that? He's bartending. Hey Jason, I'll take a Jack and Coke and a short glass with a little bit of ice, please. Thank you, you fucking freak. You goddamn son of a bitch picked on me all night. Why? You know why? I'll tell you, because way back, I'm a musician. One time he wanted to sing with us. We started playing a song in one key, he was singing in another key, and he's hated me ever since. But, honest to God, Jason, those tattoos don't come off. And that Amish beard that he's growing, I mean, Jason, please. You look like the Amish guy that was working on the church up here on the church roof the other day. I gotta hurry up. Adam D, yeah, he's Steve McCauley, my dear departed friend Steve McCauley used to call him D's nuts. It's not just a nickname, he really is nuts. Hey, shh, shh, hey, shh, hey, shh, 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 young lady. Yes, please. Adam D, a lot of people don't know this about Adam, but he can actually play an instrument. I know, it wasn't apparent by tonight, but every once in a while he does play, mostly with himself. I usually think of Adam when I'm on Throne Phone and I give him a call. Chris Vipont. What can I say about Chris? Oh, by the way, everybody busting on my ego. There's Felix and the Hurricanes, Adam D, Chris Vipont in the Stanley Street Band. It's not Ron Delansky's Half Tempted, you son of a bitch. And we needed a famous name. We needed a famous name. That's why we got Chris Vipont in here. None of the Fioris or the Sheetses were available. Ken Tonkin. Now, kids, you're never supposed to turn a groupie. You're never supposed to turn a groupie. A groupie is one of those people that comes up and watches you on stage and idolizes what they think you are. You're never supposed to turn a groupie. So when I heard Kent was getting married, I said, Missy, don't go after that groupie. Because he won't be able to live up to the expectations that he sees every night on stage. But really, I love Missy and I love Kent. Congratulations, you guys. Perfect couple. Perfect couple. Big Joe, I'm not going to piss him off. He's bigger than me, and I got to play with him next week. Big Jimmy couldn't be here. He's hairy like an animal. If you ever see him without his shirt on, cheese, please. Cheese. Jim has never written a bad review. That's why Cheese has not ever been an NPA musician. Sorry, brother. You know, the worst thing he could say was you played to a sparse but enthusiastic crowd and blew the lid off the place, but that was only after he farted. Jay Randall, the reason why Jim started writing was to further Jay Randall's career in Tommy Gun. How was that 15 minutes? I'm sorry, I was in Tommy Gun. I replaced Rich Dennis, or his new nickname is Tater Salad. Because if you've seen Rich lately, am I lying? Tater Salad. I gotta hurry up here. Jay Randall, the only musician that ever wore spandex that had hung off of him. I couldn't figure that out. He would have been famous. He would have been famous, folks, if he wouldn't have broke that guitar string. He would have been famous. Now, to the man of the hour, Jim Price. Now this is, I can't take credit for this. Mr. Giornesto and I were talking today, and he said, Jim Price looks like Mr. Magoo fucked a penguin. And that's what come out. I said, my God, Todd, I wish I would have thought of that. You know how people like resemble their pets, like if they have a dog? Jim has pet parakeets. He does, don't you? And then you go around eating them defenseless chickens. And then he goes home and probably feeds them birds that stuff. And now listen, I heard Jim talking about girls the whole time I've known him. 26 years, I've heard Jim talk about women. Jenny, Catherine. Then I found out he drinks Jenny and he lived on Catherine Street. I was like, you know, I don't know what to say. I bet the only time he's got a piece of ass is when his finger went through the toilet paper. Now he launched many careers in Altoona. He launched Hubie the Clown, the Horseshoe Cloggers, Tommy Gun, Hailstorm, and the Hurricanes in their order of importance. Jim also plays several instruments fluently I might add. He plays the skin flute, the rusty trombone, my personal favorite, the mouth organ, and the bagpipes. And also, if you don't know where Jim came from, he was an original Little Rascals. He was wanky. He's also president of the He-Man Woman Hater Club. I'm just kidding, Jim. I love Jim Price. You know what? Thank you for all you've done. Thank you for never writing a scathing review like Jason Maton gave me. But I love him too. Actually, I love all you guys. Have a nice night.
Ron, you left your Budweiser up here. Alrighty. Our next guy, Chris Vipon. Chris is over here. Yeah, who? That's what I said. Who the fuck is this guy? I let Jim tell me who to have up here, and he told me Chris Vipon. I'm like, who the fuck is that? He said, Chris Vipon. You know, he's in that band. I'm like, I don't fucking know who they are. So, Chris, I really don't have anything to write about you, because it don't fucking matter. Come on up.
Sorry, I had to be a little high and a little deaf to be around all this talent tonight. So, I can't really say anything bad about Jim Price because I watched Jim Price grow as an artist as well as most of the musicians in this town. So, I watched him for the last 20 years. And, you know, as a favor to Jim, we went on his, I can say the Backyard Rocker, right? Yeah, I can say that now because we're the last band to play on that as a result of doing a song about martial law and then bringing some frat boys talking about cornhole on. The next day he wakes up, he doesn't have a job. So I take a little bit of personal responsibility for that action, Jim, and I apologize that you do not have a job there anymore, but we appreciate all that you do with it. It's the homegrown.